wife. She's alive. Vault's holding her captive somewhere. And right now, we're in a little bit of trouble.
Are you fucking with us?
Listen, this is a fucking mess. We're the most wanted lads in the country. We got soup terrorists. And we got no superheroes.
Hi! I'm Stormfront.
Who?
I'm the new girl.
Wonderful.
Oh, God!
So what's your big plan?
We'll take them Vault.
There we go.
And I get my wife back.
We're in. Of course we're in.
We blow it up in that air.
More super terrorists will come. For all we know, these maniacs could be waiting for their chance to kill us all.
Who the fuck are you?
I'm just trying to help.
Really? How?
We are in a war, but we can fight back with an army of supermen, millions strong. Now, don't be a pussy. Laser my fucking tits.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
She's got a whole army of soups.
We gotta stop her.
We need more soup!
Shit.
All right, what do we do? We can't just kill everyone.
That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Oh, great. Cool. Totally.
1, 2, 3, hit it!
We just need to keep our shit together a little bit longer.
Yeah, you guys go ahead. You guys go ahead. I'm good.
All right, hands in the air. Like you just don't care. Kill.
Hello and welcome back to the periodic table of awesome. I'm going to jump up and down in my seat. I'm going to get excited. Am I very loud? Am I too loud? Is that what happened?
Fine. No, get excited. I love it. Go for it. Yeah. Do you know why? Because shit seems to be working, and I'm not jinxing it. So fuck it.
No.
Shut up.
I love it that we had Tigers in
shut
Space who came by just to say hello, and then hasn't actually watched the season, so he's going to fuck off.
Well, we do spoilery like later. We won't spoil anything for you, so stick around for like. If
you know, have some chats with your friends, have some bants, talk some good times. I'm Quinny. Yeah, sick bants, always sick bants. I have bants with my buddy. Who's my buddy?
Peter, probably. I'm no longer that great at being buddies. I'm still the
well,
doghouse.
I'm Peter then.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. Hey,
just you and me now, Quinny.
Yeah.
And you know what?
I'll just
I'm
go fuck
okay with that.
myself
I
then.
thoroughly enjoy your conversational talents, Peter.
It's fucking diabolical. You are. You guys are terrible.
That's a bit rough, calling us both diabolical. That's
what are we
nasty.
doing today? Well, I don't know. Hopefully, praying. Fucking yeah. So someone's gonna say, like Tiger's gonna say, if you don't say bants again. Oh shit.
Bye, Tigers. Yes, that's right. We are talking about season 2 of the Amazon Prime TV. Is it Amazon Prime?
Amazon. Yes.
I don't know.
It's amazing.
I always struggle to work out whether it's called Amazon Prime Video or just Amazon Prime or Amazon Video.
Well, it's tricky because there's a whole raft of brands that fall under Amazon Prime. So
yeah, that's kind of
let's
what
say
I get
Amazon
confused
Prime
by.
Video.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
let's just say it's part of the Bezos cultural narrative.
Bad.
I don't want to be a part of the Bezos cultural narrative, please. Because I'm pretty sure the cultural narrative is give me all your money, I'm richer than everyone. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. I made more money during COVID. Hey, kill me. You know, it's like please.
It's funny actually, like knowing that this is funded by Amazon and that, you know, Amazon is making fucking squillions of dollars. I do find myself in this thing of going, is there an irony in them portraying a corporation like Vought as being evil? I don't know. Is there, a little
Is
bit
there
of
not? Well,
physician
first,
help thyself?
perverse. First, what are we talking about, Quinny, so that people can get
Boys, the
an
boys,
understanding? The boys. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a flashback for anyone who knows the Prodigy, but whatever.
Yeah. Sorry to anyone who was alive and awake in the 90s.
Yeah, sure. This is devolving rapidly into a commercial radio sense of.
Well, you've got the music for it, Dion. Do it as commercial radio, please. Give us the intro with commercial radio.
No, I can't do that. That's just fucked. I'm not going to do that stuff.
Anyway.
What are we doing? We're doing The Boys Season 2. Now, has everyone seen The Boys Season 1? Hands up if you've seen The Boys Season 1. Yes.
I feel like
Everyone
I should do that.
for the listeners?
Yeah, no, not that one. Never that one, Quiddy.
Well, if it was
Always
the boys...
vertical, never the acute angle.
Okay.
Yes, okay, you've all seen The Boys Season 1. How did you find The Boys Season 1?
I put it on Amazon.
You what?
What?
You said, how did you find it? I just put it on.
Oh, fuck, dude. Come on. This is killing me here. Yes, and
Peter is like, what have I signed on for tonight?
Yeah, what's
this is
going on?
not what I
It's a
want.
dad joke that has to be explained. It is not a good dad joke.
We should not be. See, this is what happens when we're left alone.
I
for
don't know.
1
Pretty
week.
Kanka gave me a round of applause. I'll take it.
One week, you leave us to our own devices, and we've just devolved into a mediocre sense of reality. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I personally have not read the comics. But it got a trailer that it was coming soon on Amazon, and I was like, oh, I know that one because I think it was sort of apocryphal in amongst comic book nerds in the sense that the lead character was based on Simon Pegg, so everyone was like, oh, it's the comic with Simon Pegg in it.
Yeah. Well,
and then Simon Pegg was in it, and so we all went, oh, yay.
Yay, Simon Pegg's there, yay! And then everyone realized that he was too old to play Huey when they eventually got around to making that. But look, okay, we have done the Boys podcast way back in 127.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but
Which
now
is a while back, but not that far.
yeah, we gave it 81. So we were pretty happy with it. So when season 2 was coming around, it was one of those things. I think with everything that was just, with this.
What with all this?
I missed it and I completely forgot that it was coming along, and I was like, oh, right, that's right, the second season of The Boys, where they're just going to be like doing wacky, crazy shit. Yeah, okay, why not?
Peter, have you read or were aware of The Boys at all before the series?
I've never read the comic, you know that, Quinny, but I'm weirdly a fan of all TV and film adaptations of comic series. I don't know what that makes me, aside from someone who doesn't do my research properly.
That makes
I don't know.
Cool,
I'm sure that there are angry nerd men everywhere screaming, going, fake nerd girl, fake nerd girl. Fuck them.
I'm a proper film nerd. That's what I've always been. Like, I'm living in my own nerddom. Comics have encroached into my nerd space, and so now I am enjoying the content within the nerd box that I built myself from a very young age.
I want to doff my cap to Predakanka, who is given the phrase of being comic curious.
Sure.
Well done.
So yeah, I watched series 1 with no idea of what I was going to get. I don't think I was in that podcast, but I watched it all. I was obviously interested enough to finish it. I enjoyed it, thought it was really good quality, but I was really kind of trepidatious about watching series 2 because I found it a tough watch. What with, the violence and the misogynistic overtones in the themes of all of the characters.
And all of the terrible things that they do, and the fact that
Yes.
superheroes are particularly nice.
it is dark, but it's a weird dark that kind of sneaks up on you because it's a superhero thing, and so you don't expect this kind of dark in your superheroes, which is the point. I get.
This was a good one. Like the comic was the great Garth Ennis written, and I forgot the artist's name. That's terrible of me.
Steve Dillon.
Yeah, I think it was Steve Dillon, who took the whole superhero thing and just twisted it around into a kind of not a Watchmenish, but more of a comedy Watchmen style. Where what if superheroes who are gods and who don't give a fuck were amoralistic assholes run by a corporation because Coke. Pick one. That's either Coca-Cola Amatil or Koch brothers. I don't care. Coke.
Or to the drug, either or.
Or drug, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like either one of them, mash that as a corporate sort of thing, which was really great back in the time when it came out, and then it kind of was a little bit of the thing. Oh, that's been a while since that came out because it was.
Sorry, just a quick bit of errata. It was actually Derek Robertson who was the artist.
Robertson,
My
thank
bad.
you. Yes. Always better to get that right.
Yeah, yeah.
But when they did the adaptation, I was actually quite happy with the way that they had to manipulate it to get it onto the screen because it was a little bit unfilmable.
Well, okay, how much of the comics have you read? Because I really don't know much about it at all.
2/3. Don't think I got all the way through to the end yet. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff because it wasn't The Boys isn't like a one series of comics. It's a bunch of stories with the boys in it. So sometimes it follows down different paths. Like it'll go like Wee Huey, or it'll go follow the Frenchman, or it'll follow Butcher. All that kind of stuff.
Right.
But there is an overriding narrative arc that's coming through, and I'm wondering if now that they're making their own kind of storyline separate from, like it's a bit like Walking Dead. They're doing two different things. You've got the comics version, and then you've got the TV version.
Oh, so it sort of hewed closer to the comics to begin with, and then has veered off, or
kind of. I mean, there's just some stuff in there which is just like you wouldn't want to film, and then there's other stuff which is more visually interesting, like riding a powerboat into a whale.
Why would you even say that?
Why? It's in the trailer.
Yes, but still, why? Why would you say that?
Yes, poor deep. That's what we got to say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So season one was, as you say, Peter, occasionally a bit of a tough watch. I found it really enjoyable, but at the same time, it was a bit like being punched in the face quite regularly with, oh, Jesus, that's unpleasant. Oh, wow, that's, the darkest possible thing that person could have done. But it left on such a good cliffhanger that I was like, right, need to know what happens next.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, it was well done. It was an uncomfortable watch, but I get the distinct feeling that that was the point. If something's uncomfortable that's supposed to be uncomfortable, you can't really hate on it for that. I think the interesting thing about now is that we're all a little bit run down. We might all be a little bit on edge. We might all be a little bit scared of the state of the world. And I think that that's making season 2 a tougher watch for me. Not because it's worse, but because I'm worse.
Because we're all in
I just want to hug you.
Oh no, this is terrible. But also, I'm just uncomfortable watching grown men drink milk.
Well, there's that, but there's also one of those things that I think they've made an interesting choice this time around in going from it being fully bingeable to spreading it out. And I sort of wonder as to whether or not this is actually in result of the world being a bit fucking harder, and too much nihilism in one hit may be too much for people.
Too much nihilism is never enough, Quinny. I think we should just get it all out there. I honestly believe it's part of the COVID production wheelhouse, which is just they're just doing it as fast as they can. Like, I have a sneaking suspicion that they've done the principal photography and they can't go back and do more principal photography, so they're just pushing pushing them out as soon as they get the post CGI stuff done and their current workload. Like, I don't know. This is a guess. I don't have any insider information. Pete, what do you know?
Oh, I mean, I know that I don't know anything. I would think, given that they're rolling them out every week now, that they're probably pretty close to done.
I would imagine that they're all in the can by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I did think that may have been a bit of a concern, like that. Also, everybody's still at home, and I think people are kind of latching onto things at the moment that give you a sense of time. You know,
Sure.
a weekly thing is a thing that you can hang your hat on and go, ah, good. There's another episode of that coming out. I'm actually kind of in. That's my theory, anyway.
I mean,
Yeah,
the thing
it's a good theory.
They're only doing 8 episodes. Like, they did 8 in the first season. They've got 8 for this season. I don't mind the idea of having episodic stuff. I don't particularly need to binge watch The Boys.
I mean, honestly, I think it would be a bad idea. Without getting into spoiler territory, I think it's really interesting what they're doing thematically in this season. I felt that the first season, the stuff that was making me uncomfortable was pulling on a very particular discomfort string of violent misogyny. That was kind of the main stuff that was quite disturbing to me. It feels like in this season, the issues that they're pulling the strings on are much broader, much more global, very current and relevant to our current socio-political situation.
But you're about to say sociopathic. And then I was wondering where you were going with that. And I was like, well.
That too. And I think it would be
in Germany.
I think it would be a tough binge watch, this one. I'm not upset not to have had the next episode to watch straight away after Ep 5, even though I am interested enough in the direction to want to keep going. I don't want to eat it all at once.
Yeah.
It's an interesting aside, which isn't necessarily focused just on The Boys. I have been back to back, like watching this in conjunction with another television series, which I know Peter has watched, Ted Lasso. And it is surprisingly amazing how much they're an antidote for each other.
It's such a bubble bath, Ted Lasso.
Yes.
I mean, that is kind of
we
like,
need to be
I'm
looking at Ted
forward
Lasso?
to Friday to like...
I don't know if it really fits the whole periodic table of awesome kind of thing. I just think it's awesome because it makes you feel good. Like,
then that to me sounds like periodic table of awesome.
Well, then good. Like, maybe at the end of the season of Ted Lasso, we can all come back and it literally ticks all the boxes that shouldn't interest me. It's football. It's Americans in a fish out of water in England.
Yeah. See, Rob makes a point, and I very much agree. I think I've said it before about other shows that when it's episodic, it also increases the amount of time that people talk about it. It increases the amount of eyes watching over a longer period of time. And to put it in a really mercenary sense, it increases the amount of time you can advertise. And so we had, 3 episodes to begin with, and then a 4th separately and a 5th separately. Yeah. So it's going to end up being 6 weeks of people talking about it.
Yeah, it also increases the amount of time you log into that particular streaming service, and then maybe kind of finish it up and stay on that streaming service to find your next thing, because the market is quite fragmented now in that area.
Yeah, it stops you from getting those emails from people going, hey, we've put a new show on that you might be interested in. Why don't you come back to us and watch what I'm watching? Come on, please.
And it does make a lot of sense. If you're hanging on for 6 weeks or whatever it ends up being, that means you've got 6 weeks of going, well, what else can I watch on there? And browsing the rest of their library and stuff like that. So to be honest, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we saw a lot more of that kind of thing. And I mean, we are. They look at Raised by Wolves, which was like 3 episodes to begin with, and then a 4th and a 5th, and then a 6th and the 7th. Sorry?
Is that still going?
Yeah, 6. Yes. I thought you said it wasn't going to be another C for you.
No, well, they've just got a season 2, so I'm like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But okay, look, can I ask you a quick thing then?
Yes.
Before, because we're running off on on tangents that really have nothing to do with The Boys season 2.
No, but I think everything we're going to talk about
Sure.
with Boys season 2 is going to be very heavily in the spoiled section.
Sure, absolutely. What are the things? Okay, so like in the end of the first season, now all of the team of the boys, fugitives, wanted by everyone, and their superheroes seem to have kind of won by running them underground, and they didn't succeed in like opening up, like letting everyone know. What's the thing when you bring it out into the open?
Whistling.
Exposing them. That's the word that I was grasping heavily for.
Whistle blowing.
The whistle
where
blowing,
I was
yes.
trying to go.
Now that we're here, what do we think of the second season as it's going so far? Do you enjoy the way that it's following certain characters? Do you enjoy the change from some characters? And do you like some of the new characters?
I like Aya Cash as Stormfront.
Oh my god.
I really enjoy. I love her from You're the Worst, which is a terrific dark comedy series. If you haven't watched it, weirdly she's playing it fairly similar to her character in You're the Worst. But she's got there's a real energy that she's bringing to that character, and that's kind of turning out to be, a fairly complex and interesting character without going into any spoiler territory on it. She's probably my favorite new thing, just because I'm enjoying the performance.
It's an interesting change from the comics to see Stormfront as the lady. Because Stormfront is the man in the comics. Just so you know, just a little bit of like background.
I actually think that's a really good call. There are enough creepy dudes in this show.
Yeah, that is true.
True. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we don't need another bad dude.
Yeah, same.
And I think exploring a character like hers is fascinating.
Yeah.
I think I'm glad that they've expanded the look into Maeve a bit more. Like I felt like she got a bit hard done by in the first season.
Yeah, look, in this way, it just seems to. I feel like a lot of it has changed focus. Like I think the real follow through for the first season was Huey and what's going on there. But this one, it seems like he's standing back a fair bit from this whole sort of thing, and it's focusing more on the other characters around Huey, which is an interesting turn. I think. I think everyone's equally freaked out because you just don't know what the fuck people are going to do. Which is kind of good for a series, but also you're just waiting for... I'm waiting for something really big to happen.
Right.
Which would be kind of one of those big, weird, bad things. But so
the whale wasn't big and weird and bad enough for you?
Not really. I actually thought the whale, which we'll go on, was not as emotionally complex as the dolphin from season 1. Come on, the dolphin in season 1 was great. The whale in this one is but I do love the Church of Scientology sort of retake like that they've gone on, which is what's it called again?
There was
Church of the Collective.
Collective,
It's
that's
the
it.
Church of
But
the
then
Collective.
there was also is it Guiding Light, which is the terrorist group that is in charge of. Well, are they a terrorist group? Are they a something else?
Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like where you're coming from. You're one country's terrorists is another country's superheroes.
Yeah, and freedom fighter and whatever.
Yeah, like it's interesting. I think I like the idea that they've gone down those tangents. I like seeing the female's brother, the male. A little bit coming through there. I like that they're pushing a bit back on the Billy Butcher as a nice person kind of thing.
Is he though?
Well, like we all want to see. This is the thing. We're introduced to these characters, and then they're not doing the things that we want them to do because it's all potentiality. I thought first season it's all fucking potentiality, but you've got the characters now. Well, I'm waiting for them to do some cool shit. Like I always feel like Homelander, I'm waiting for him to do something even nastier because even what we're seeing is not that. Billy Butcher, I'm waiting for him to do something cool because he hasn't done anything cool yet. And then the rest of the characters, I'm all just kind of like, any development there? Nope. Okay, moving on.
I mean, did you enjoy Patton Oswalt's turn as
Yes.
Gills?
I found that so strange.
As who?
As the Gills.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's just ayahuasca. Like,
Is it though?
That's just what you do when you're 17 and you can't afford other drugs. No. Yeah. Yes, I did enjoy those things. I just didn't necessarily enjoy some of the other characters out there, although they're all kind of there. How many?
Okay, who did you not enjoy?
From season 2? I thought A-Train's arc is kind of a little bit over now.
Are you trying to get rid of him?
Probably. It would have been better if I didn't need to know like that sort of stuff.
To be honest, I actually thought he basically died in the first season. And I thought his arc was done. So
It was surprising to see him again.
Like I think like Mother's Milk and Huey are kind of sitting off to the side, not really doing much this season at all. And
I wonder if there might be something more interesting coming for A-Train.
Sure.
I hope so.
And then, look, everyone else is doing a fine job, but I think it is kind of like this season is overbearingly more focused on Homelander and Stormfront and that kind of manipulation and the Vought head. But I do miss the old handler.
Well, she's sort of around.
Stillwell. Yeah, well, that was great. Like, I mean, I like that one. Yeah, but I mean, when Stillwell was killed at the end of the first season, because we've done that, and that's not technically a spoiler for the second season. But yeah, like when Stillwell was killed, I thought, well, there goes an interesting dynamic because she was kind of the one keeping Homelander in charge
or in check.
In check. But now it's and they haven't really done that. I don't know. Like I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm just not getting the same vibe. And every time they try and do something, hey, it's real edgy. We're doing this week. I'm like, is it though? It's creepy.
Are they trying to do too much? Too many characters? Too many issues that they're bringing into it?
Maybe because I mean I think you're right. I think there are major character players who have been kind of sidelined. I feel like, as you say, Huey has really kind of been pushed into the back, as has Starlight to a degree, though in a way maybe she's actually been bumped up. Like her plot lines are a lot more kind of central to what's happening in the show.
And she's adapted to the life now in the second season. She's just there.
Yeah. But I think, the addition of Stormfront really kind of changes dynamics. And I still love any scene that Homelander's in because I don't know when he's going to fucking kill someone. And I find him incredibly uncomfortable energy in any sequence that he's in, which I totally give props to the actor on that because he's good. He's not pleasant.
No.
But he's good, and I hope that he's not like that. Anthony Starr, I hope you're not like that.
Did you ever? What was that TV show that he was in, which was all about the Amish mob?
Yeah. Yep, I know the one you mean.
Yes, I forgot.
And Rob points out that Frenchie's sort of been sidelined.
Yeah, I mean he's always there for Banshee. Thank you, Rob. Yes. Banshee, that was again one of the most hard-boiled writer wanking that I've ever seen come across on a TV show. Of course everyone falls in love with him because the writer's like, and then she takes off her dress. Anyway, enough of Banshee.
Yeah.
Banshee's insane.
Okay. What do we think of Carl Urban? Do we like Carl Urban?
Sure. I can't do the accent. I'm not going to sully myself by trying a fucking weird British accent, but more of the same.
He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
It's a consistent performance.
Yes. I'm not feeling like there's a huge amount of growth.
Yeah. He's present in this one. I think it's the same sort of thing, and he's not given too much to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the character who I really feel like is making leaps and bounds forwards?
Who?
Black Noir.
Kind of enjoying the little bit of character development we're getting there.
Just
It's minuscule.
I'm not going to spoil it for you, but like if they
It's
follow,
minuscule, but to be honest, with that kind of character, you don't need a lot. You don't need to give a lot for it to be significant when you give something.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
and
that's
you're like,
kind of
oh.
the joy of Black Noir is that he's weird, like super fucking weird, and like I mean, I just hope that they go down the same road as the comics. Finally, when you get to see what's under the hood with that will be great. If they do.
There's a part of me that hopes that they don't, just so that you get a nice surprise as well as the rest of us.
Yeah, true. Like, I mean, you know, he's hoping, but I just got to kind of go. It makes a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense to me when I read it in the comic. It was like, fuck, okay, that's interesting. But hey, we don't know. That's a spoiler, and I wouldn't dare to do that too. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Is there anything you didn't like about the show? Is it boring you? You just don't like the episodic content? Too much Nazism?
So violent, guys.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm being a baby, and like
No.
it's the point, and you know it's part of the source material, and it's part of what it is. But my God, it is not necessary, and I am not a fan. I'm just like I have to look away. I'm a baby. I'm not a fan of creatively horrendous, unnecessary violence, and it's very well done.
Very well done,
Yeah.
Violet.
There are many times when I look at it and just go, oh, Jesus Christ, okay, that's unnecessarily realistic and violent and,
Sure.
you know, but then there are other parts where I kind of went, that's fucking hilarious. You know, the whale, for example, I mean, I laughed, I was horrified, but I couldn't help but laugh. But then there are other things that are just, you know, very fast moments where you're like, oh God, that was somebody's head being literally torn in half. And you're like, oh, that's too much. So I get where you're coming from, Pete. I really do.
But it is a little, it seems to be like a little bit of the old one-upmanship on, you know, oh, what did we do last time? How do we make this even crazier? How can we make it even more shocking? And I think that they're losing a little bit of the point there with some of the most shocking stuff is the stuff where stuff doesn't happen. You know, like that, the interesting character note with Black Noir in one episode with the kid and the bunny. It's just like, that's interesting. Like, after what he did, is like, that is interesting. That's the great kind of menace. But yeah, just, I don't need to see more stuff blow up that way.
Yeah.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah. And Tiggs is making a good point that the violence is meant to be so over the top as to be absurd, a la Mortal Kombat. But the thing with Mortal Kombat and everything is that the blood is super red. And you know, the viscera is super kind of, it's like all of those Japanese samurai movies where you'll cut somebody and there'll be a ridiculous arterial spray, which makes it so cartoony that it can't be realistic. This is black gore. This is, you know, to me, very realistic violence. And I do occasionally struggle with it.
That's the line I draw that I can't handle. I mean, I can watch a zombie film, you know, particularly an old zombie film where there are some great special effects with blood spurting and limbs chopping and violence. It's the realism that gets me, and it's one of the reasons that, you know, I don't love medieval battle scenes or anything like that. I don't know. It's not. I mean, I'll watch it if I have to. It's just I just, you know, don't enjoy it.
Yeah, like there's a movie, Irreversible, Gaspar Noé. Yeah, okay, yeah. I see you've met Gaspar. There's a sequence in that where somebody gets their head bashed in with a fire extinguisher, and it's one of the most revolting, disgusting pieces of cinema I've ever watched. And every now and then, I get moments of that stomach churning kind of thing in here, because it's just like, oh, that is way too accurately believable. Like, at one point somebody's head exploded and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because it was just a head exploded. Whereas there was somebody who, had their head ripped off or something. And I was like, oh, no, shit. Because there was a difference in believability,
So
and maybe sound effects.
There's a lot of that. So, trigger warning if you're not into it. And trigger warning if you're feeling a little bit delicate about the state of the world. And you're just looking for something light and fluffy. Maybe give Ted Lasso a go.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of, well, I was going to say, speaking of trigger warnings and the state of the world at the moment, I do believe that Quinny has a clip that he wants us to play about some of that sort of thing.
I do, though. I'm going to say, do we want to rate this before we go to the spoiler? Because after this clip, we'll come back. We'll talk about this in full spoilery detail. So if you're, wanting to be completely clean.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to start?
I would like for you to do that.
I'm going to give it 4.
Good.
Out
of 100. It was terrible. I hated season 2. It was gigantic. It was bad. It did nothing. No. Look, this one, I'm not actually enjoying season 2 as much as I enjoyed season 1, which is a bit of a shame. I think it's got a better message, strangely. Like, I think it's got more to say, like, in season 2, and it is a lot creepier in my mind. But I think that there is a little disconnect between what the boys in the comics, and I thought at least a little bit in season 1 has done, which is about amoralistic assholes getting their comeuppance, and it's fair to say it's only 5 episodes into the season 2. They could have a whole thing happening.
There hasn't been a lot of comeuppance, has there?
No, and that's the whole point of the boys, is that they are the group of people who get called when a superhero steps out of line. The boys are the ones who come around and give you a touch-up when you've been doing naughty things. And in this one, it just doesn't seem that anything like that is happening at all.
They're certainly not keeping anyone in check.
Yeah, it just makes me feel a little bit like, oh, okay, fair enough. So I'm going to go probably like a 70.
Right.
Yeah.
A little down on season 1.
Yeah. And that's my 2 cents worth.
Look, I'm probably probably an 83. I still think it's very, very high quality and it's very well done, and there are some great performances in there. And like I said, it is. I think it's interesting that they're reaching out to some issues and maybe dealing with them in an interesting way. I am only at episode 5, so maybe I'll hate the way that they end up dealing with them. But despite feeling the discomfort of watching it and, being a little bit off at the moment and wanting to watch stuff that's a little bit more light, I am still interested in seeing where they're taking what they've done. I'm not gonna drop it yet.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of
dropping it.
What's that?
I'm not dropping it yet, Pete. Jeez. Just because I gave it 70 doesn't mean I won't watch out the end of the season.
Well, I don't know. This is something that I do find interesting. Is sometimes we do have that thing where, like, will you finish the rest of the season? And with C, no. With
what? Sorry.
Raised by Wolves, probably. With this, yeah, I reckon so.
As long as I keep making Ted Lasso, I can keep watching The Boys season 2.
So you need it to balance each other out, do you? Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go 80. I'm actually going to stick with 85 from last time because I feel like it's still very much the same show. And there are moments that I find incredibly tense and really enjoyable to watch. Like the sequence that we're about to watch, I actually really dug because I was like, okay, this is happening now. This is a very modern look at the idea of superheroes and the idea of managing your media and celebrity and stuff like that. And I like that this is a show that's using these fictional characters that are bigger than life to call attention to how our politics are being, you know, manipulated and things like that. I've had a multiple conversations in the last day over Watchmen, and like a trailer. Sorry, this is a little bit of a ramble thing, but I'll get to it. The trailer for WandaVision came out, and Watchmen's won a bunch of Emmys, and I think we've hit that point now with superhero stuff where it is able to be a genre that you can fuck with. And we're getting Doom Patrol, we're getting Umbrella Academy, we're getting The Boys, and we're getting people reacting to comic book and superhero stuff as opposed to just presenting it as it was. It's no longer just we're going to put what was in the comic book on the screen. Now we're going, okay, this needs to actually reflect back on us in a new and interesting way. And I think that's fascinating because we've hit the point where comics were in the 80s.
Yeah. And that's like, comics were of their time. They wrote and did stories about stuff that was actually going on, and to have that translate into television shows that will talk about the stuff that's actually going on is great.
Yeah, like Watchmen was written in the 80s. It was about the rise of neoliberalism. It was about Thatcherism and Reaganism. It was about, the Cold War and all that kind of shit. And then you have a TV series of Watchmen now, which is about racism and is about the collapse of American society. It's about all these things. And I think these shows, this is the same sort of thing. It's saying, let's look at how you're being manipulated. Let's look at, what celebrity actually means. Let's look at violence and how it actually works. And I think maybe because they're actually exploring all of that, this is why our focus is perhaps moving away from some of those characters, because the writers are now going, actually, we want to talk about some shit.
Sure. Well,
that's my theory anyway.
It's fair enough. It's good.
I'm just going to pop down off my soapbox now.
No. Stay up there. Like, that's what we're going to do. But I mean, this is just an interesting conversation between Stormfront and Homelander. And the problem with Stormfront is she's come in. She's like a tech disruptor. She's a meme lord. She's just, getting in there, talking the real, the realness with the audience that's out there. Someone who's always tapping on her phone, like Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Versus Homelander is just like, I'm the best, and why don't people? Because he's not good at manipulation, and she's better at manipulation than he is. Anyway, that's okay. Look, we'll go to the clip, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all going to work fine. So yes, please touch wood, and then we'll come back and do some spoilers where we can then stop beating around bushes. Bye.
And there is no fucking way that anyone is going to take it away from me.
You spent $273 million on that Saving America bullshit, and I am running circles around you with 5 guys on laptops churning out memes. I practically pay them with Arby's gift cards. You can't win the whole country anymore. No one can. So why are you even trying? You don't need 50 million people to love you. You need 5 million people fucking pissed. Emotion sells. Anger sells. You have fans. I have soldiers. Look, I know that you probably won't believe this. I think that you are the best of us. I think that you are everything we should be. You just need a little help connecting with your audience. Change with the times. God knows I did.
I don't need help connecting with my audience. Thank you.
Okay, well, just know I'm always here. Door is always open for anything.
So yeah, it's it's an uncomfortable scene.
Yeah, I mean, okay, wait, I gotta wait. Spoiler town, fuck. Okay, hang
Full
on.
spoiler. Gotta go full spoiler. Like,
Yeah, I gotta put.
I
the
can see-
thing
want
on.
to
There
know.
we go.
I like that Peter's like, "Oh, must have
well,
spoilers.
I mean, there are particular kind of reveals in the plot that are kind of fairly satisfying plot twists and character developments. I think it would be a shame to have them spoiled if you wanna
Absolutely.
watch it.
Well, I just like, fuck. I mean, come on with the stuff. No, like everything that's happened. I didn't know
What
where
are
to
you
start.
saying?
I didn't know where to start. Which one's the
Use your
weirdest-
words.
Which one's
Use
the
your words.
Which is the weirdest piece of shit that's happened during the whole thing that's come up this season so far? What's your top number one? That's fucked.
I think for me, it's Stormfront as a whole.
The fact that she's a Nazi. The fact that
Well,
she was one of
has
the first.
that been officially established?
Yes, she was one of the first ones when they. Did you see that they explained that is that the reason that the Compound V, where does it come from? It comes from Nazi science programs in World War II that they captured and they brought it over and they continued the program. And she was one of the first ones, and so she's quite literally been raised in a. Thing. Yes, and also I say yes, Rob. Homelander's obsession with breast milk is weird and creepy, but slightly funny. What's worse, I think, is Homelander forcing a shape changer to turn into himself in that weird way just before death. Because for a moment there, you're like, he's gonna fuck himself.
I
like that. That's the way that they ended it. It's just like, what the fuck? I mean, it was already weird with the eatable shit, but like the rest of it was like, oh, that's just fucking strange.
Yeah. The eatable stuff really is super uncomfortable. Like all of the stuff with Elizabeth Shue being back again, I was like, oh, okay, right, and then for her to also be back again and so sexualized. Yeah, awkward, weird, very strange.
What about you, Pete? You seem...
Kind of that kind of brings back what made me so uncomfortable about series one, which was it just seemed like the entire series to me was about horrible things happening to women, being done by sociopathic men, which, like I said, it just pulls a particular thread of discomfort for me. But then you have, I think, this series, there is still a bit of that, but they're pulling on capitalism, nationalism, racism, social media and the mobs that it creates. Like they're pulling so many strings now about, what's kind of going on in the world that scene was one of them. Like, I was like, oh, well, this is a nice break from everything else that they've got going on. And then like, oh, we're just back to the like horrendous misogyny of season one. That's like,
yeah, give me some of that.
How
good
refreshing.
Yeah, I'll take some
regular.
garden variety misogyny, thanks.
Yeah.
I am getting a thing, Predicanga saying that the stream is dead.
Yeah. I don't know how that can happen if it's.
I'm certainly noticing it on my end that I can't get the stream to keep playing. It just keeps crashing.
Really? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll just have to have a look. Maybe we'll just do a little. We'll check that out. Hang on. Just... Oh, that's better.
Is it?
I have no idea. Fuck. Who has any idea? I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. I just react to things. It's like, oh, this is not working. Fucked if I know why. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, we've got so many things, so many balls in the air.
It wouldn't be a show unless there was some giant tech fuck up. I don't know. Like what? Like why do we even bother with these things? Anyway, hello. Yes, we're back again. And yes,
Yes.
there was music. That is like if I could just play that music like all the time, I would.
Just in your life.
Yeah, just fuck people up. Like, come listen to us on Twitch. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's like. Anyway. Okay, what are we back to? We're back to more boys.
We're talking about boys, and we are talking about the spoilers of season 2. Where did we get up to? We were talking, Pete. What were you just talking about?
Oh, blah blah issues. Blah
Oh,
blah
no.
capitalism.
Blah blah
Blah
capitalism.
blah horrendous misogyny.
Oh,
Blah blah weird shit.
Right.
Horrendous misogyny. Excellent. So
Yeah.
what is so apart from the horrendous misogyny, was there anything of season 2 so far that you're just like, I can't believe they went that way? Or is it just more like, I actually believe that corporation exists in real life and they're doing this?
I mean, it is interesting that an Amazon Prime commissioned show is doing this, as Quinny
The
mentioned.
irony is heavy.
Although it's less about the 1%, profiting off the backs of the everyone else, and more about the power of corporations to manipulate national politics for their own profit.
I do believe that Alanis Morissette is currently writing the soundtrack for season 3 of The Boys.
Don't you think?
Yes.
And also the power of corporations and individuals to use the tools that are available to us at the moment to manipulate the populace and draw out the worst in us, I think. Which is kind of what Stormfront's whole deal is, by the looks of it.
Yeah. I find that fascinating, that she is initially shown as being essentially progressive and fuck the man, and capable of being a person who speaks truth to power and all that kind of stuff. But then when you cut right through to the heart of it, she is a Nazi, racist, awful person who is manipulating.
In the 5th episode, I do want to point out that when she's challenged about being like a white supremacist, she says, "Oh, I'm not a white supremacist. I'm just not worried about anyone who isn't a superhero. Like, she's more of a genetic supremacist." But that's the sort of
I missed that bit. I
Yeah.
don't remember that conversation.
Yeah. It's like not like us. Us being the superheroes is so. It's in.
Oh, when she was talking to A-Train.
Yeah.
Oh, I still thought that she
Oh,
was.
I
still thought she
read
was
that as a
talking
race
about
thing.
race.
Sure.
That was
absolutely.
what was it?
I thought she was saying to A-Train like us, not like
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Like,
I totally read
seriously
that as
as a
being
race thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm not here to defend Nazis.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to.
Maybe something we don't know.
Yeah, we
we'll
don't
give
know.
it a go.
I have absolutely no idea. At no point during this entire thing has any of this Zoom call dropped out.
No.
That's been the amazing thing. It's like, I don't know anymore. Nowadays, I just laugh. I used to panic on these things like, no, something's going wrong. And now I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. What else you got?
Yeah, bring it. Bring it.
Well, actually, at the moment, there was a nuclear Armageddon, but the stream stayed consistent, so that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yes, we're back. Yes, it is batshit crazy. I cannot believe the Zoom call stayed. It was fine. And the stream is just like, nah, there's nothing going out here. That's bullshit.
Yes.
I'm like, but I'm talking to people on the internet.
We don't believe in letting your content be heard by the world.
No, there's no gremlins. Damn gremlins. Anyway.
So,
let's get this
where
one done
were
real
we?
quick.
Where
I don't
were
know.
we? Let's just scroll back in the chat and see what we got to. Nazis.
Let's
I
just
think
pick
we
up on
said
things.
Nazi one time to everyone. Rob, I'm going to give ultimate fucking doff of the cap for buffering the Conversation Slayer.
Yes, absolutely.
Possibly the greatest thing I've ever read.
That gave us giggles. That was good.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about Stormfront and her manipulation of the media.
That's what we were talking about.
The thing I like about that is then looking at how Homelander is just clueless about that.
Yeah, well, just because he's been surrounded by that. So, like, I like how they portray Homelander at the moment. He's supposed to be the greatest person on the planet, and he's just an egomaniac who has fucking a lot of mental health problems. But when it comes to actually understanding, like, society, he's just fucking useless and just wants to kill everyone, which I like. It's like, kill everyone.
He's been raised to believe that he deserves to be loved. And
Yes. And
so that
adored.
is what he believes. Why would
Yeah.
he have to work for love when he
Yeah.
deserves to be loved?
And I love that he is raised to believe that he is perfect and a god, and therefore it all will come to him, and therefore he can't ever be wrong.
Yeah. And how did we like the superhero raising?
Sorry?
The superhero raising, like his child.
Oh.
Yeah, which is a whole thing that was there. It's like, oh, I'm going to be around all the time because I want to raise a child.
Creepy, horrendous storyline. I think it's like the height of abuse, and an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Playing out, but with the power discrepancy, magnitudes of order bigger than a normal abusive relationship. I find it very disturbing.
Is anyone else getting like the amazing subtle creepiness that I'm getting throughout this season as well? Which is like, you know what's creepy? Yeah, that interaction between Homelander and his genetic son. But also when you finally realize that there is an entire town surrounded by a 60-foot concrete wall that is just built to raise this child and keep that child calm. That's in the middle of nowhere and it's at a high fucking care facility.
Yeah.
Like,
which is bizarre.
That's even more crazy and insane when you realize that kid is lonely as fuck because all he has is his mother and his teachers, it's like Truman Show shit.
Yeah. And it's all in the service of trying to make not another Homelander.
Because they know they fucked up on that one.
Yeah, they're like, okay. And it's funny because it reminds me thematically an awful lot of Good Omens.
Yeah, right.
In that you've got a kid who has all of the power of the universe and basically just makes himself a nice little town. But this is the other way around. Yeah. They make a nice little town to try and make a nice kid.
Yeah, they're trying to raise him correct, like in that sort of sense.
But then Homelander comes in and is like, no, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, you're a god. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Like,
Yeah, I'm going to throw you off the fucking roof. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like an evil Truman Show.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sort of creeping dread is, I think, what it's really gotten a successful in season 2. Like, I like all of the weird, creepy shit. Not the whole things that it's playing out there for evil.
It's funny, like Tigers is saying Homelander is a scary study in giving an obsessive stalker superpowers. And I mean, that's essentially what we got with Superman Returns.
Yes, I was about to say, no, that was not the first time that this has happened.
But it is taking that idea and expanding it further. It also reminds me, like, I can imagine it being the extension of Brightburn. A kid that is essentially Superman, but with something goes wrong.
But if it was, I mean, I like the Brightburn is, what if the Kryptonians weren't nice and they sent someone to, like, Superman to the planet to kill everyone?
Yeah.
Well, you could see, like, the Brightburn kid and Homelander facing off against Superman because Superman would do that because he's not nice. Okay, fine.
Yeah. No, I find it fascinating. And what you were saying, Peter, the way that it's using the, not tropes, but the
dynamic.
The dynamic of an abusive relationship and the same levels of fear and the same ways that Becca is trying to maintain some level of normality, even though she could be killed at any second.
Which that sounds like, oh, it's because he's a superhero, but
no,
in an abusive relationship, yeah,
and
can be the dynamic.
And this sort of walking on eggshells, because you never know when the other person's going to snap, but at the same time, you're watching the child get broken down or twisted or whatever, and like the little thing where they, Mondays is speaking Spanish, and the moment that he's like, well, fuck that shit, you're like, oh god, okay.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, you don't understand how to raise someone because you don't have that context.
Yeah,
like it's interesting. I like the smart stuff that I think that comes out in The Boys season 2 is the stuff about how they are explaining manipulation at different levels, and it's not just Vort's manipulation of their superheroes. It's also how vulnerable people can be manipulated by any organization or any group, and they show different versions of that throughout season 2. Even Huey or even Butcher, like how he's manipulated, how close he came to sort of giving up, and all those kinds of things. It's like how it's like
how Huey manipulates Starlight. Still,
yeah,
constantly.
absolutely, yeah. It's like, oh, you wouldn't lie to me. It's like, no.
And I struggle with that sometimes because I want there to be something good in there.
True.
There are times when I'd really like for the Huey Starlight thing to actually be a little more healthy.
I think Frenchie is good.
Yeah.
But you don't get to have as many friends like he does by doing good things.
But I think that his attempts to connect with
Kimiko.
What's her name?
The female.
Kimiko. I mean, that kind of, to me, reads as a genuine flash of humanity in a show where there isn't much of that to find.
True.
I still think Mother's Milk has a fair bit of humanity in there that could be explored. They didn't really go. I think you're right in saying that they're showing all those sorts of situations and then how manipulative people are. I forgot how manipulative Huey is throughout the whole of season 2, especially to Starlight. Like, even when they went on that kind of cross-country road trip and it was all like nice and loving and kind of a nice break from the superhero craziness. As soon as something bad happens and she wants to go and help people, they're just like, no, you can't do that. Like, if you do that, it's wrong.
And that's a really unpleasant sequence too, because like I was going, he's right.
Yeah.
If you go and help them, suddenly the jig's up.
Yeah.
Everything that you've worked to try and, uncover or whatever is completely fucked because now you're in the wrong place. But at the same time, he's also, just slept with her again, and you're like, oh, dude. It's messy, and I like that it's messy because it's smart.
Yeah. Well, okay, cool.
The other one that we haven't really spoken a lot about is Queen Maeve and her girlfriend.
That's creepy too.
It is creepy, but again, I do like the way that they have built on that a little bit from episode 1, from that very manipulative relationship between Queen Maeve and Homelander, to expanding on why she was kind of so deep in that manipulation, to then expanding on then her and her partner being further manipulated by the publicity team and Homelander. It's like they just, there is no escaping or breaking any of these cycles of manipulation once you're in them, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
It was also creepy because I just felt so sorry for Queen Maeve. Just realizes that she just cannot have anything for herself, and that you have to play a part in it. And that's the scariest thing is like, even if you're trying to get out of it or trying to hold something away, the level of manipulation that can be held is so deep and nefarious that no one feels safe. Much like society. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a fun podcast. We're here for fun.
Well, that's what the series does to you. It kind of makes you go, ugh.
Sure. I will say, though, I do agree, Rob, that the soundtrack is pretty good in season 2. I'm liking the music. The music is fun. I mean, I miss the Spice Girls. They could bring that back. That'd be fine. But, you know, I'm happy with the way they're doing it. I always forget to mention sometimes when I'm like watching a TV show, I'm like, oh, yay. And then you're like, oh, I forgot the music. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I there are a couple of moments where they're clearly kind of going, okay, music is more important to Huey than perhaps I remember it being last season.
Yeah.
Like this whole Billy Joel thing that I was kind of like, okay, cool.
That was his whole character development in season 2 so far, is that he likes Billy Joel.
Yeah. Yeah,
Also,
and so does Starlight,
Pegg?
so it's good.
I want to see his dad back. I want to see Huey's dad back. I want Simon Pegg to come back and be like, hello, Huey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Look, I'm back here. Remember me?
Yeah, yeah, you know, I'm in it because, you know, the comic book and stuff. Yeah.
Also, that's a good one too. That I didn't know that Huey and MM don't have. They have an inexhaustible supply of band T-shirts, and I was like, great. I'll have to look at that again and try and figure out which ones I can see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like it is so bleak a lot of the time, where you know characters are just manipulation within manipulation within manipulation, and anytime you think, oh, there's a moment where something nice might happen, like I was kind of rooting for Maeve to perhaps find some kind of good relationship.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, no.
You just want this is what I said, comeuppance. Where's the fucking comeuppance? Unless they really bring it home for the last few episodes, which I don't think that they're really going to do. Like it doesn't seem to look like it's going in that direction. It looks like they're setting up for another season 3 thing where all the superheroes are in charge, except the superheroes are already in charge. Like, that's the kind of thing. It's like, oh no, the evil guys might become in charge. It's like, they're already in charge, guys. Like, that's the point. We need to have this little bit of hope that there's someone out there or some group, i.e. the boys, who are coming along to just, you know, do some kneecapping.
Yeah, like what you're hearing is it's all gone a bit grimdark. No, it was always grimdark, but
it was always very grimdark. But that's why we're giving up.
As
on
you say, Dee,
grimdark.
the point was that there was comeuppance. Like they were there to spank the motherfucker. What was it?
Yeah,
Spank the cunts.
Go
basically.
give you a bollocking. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you want. You wanted to be there, and it was, you know. That's part of the thing too, is Butcher isn't necessarily the nicest person in the comics, and you get all of that. But that's a nice character reveal. Like what you want to see Butcher doing is going around with baseball bats, taking out a few superheroes who are getting a bit too big for their boots and putting them in traction. So they have to lie in a hospital for 6 months and then heal up. And then they run into them again and they're like, hello, Mr. Butcher. Yes, nice to see you. I'll just go on my way now, please. You know, please don't put me back in traction.
That's certainly not where we're at.
Yeah, and that's the kind of annoyance.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of had a vague feeling we may have got a bit of that with Black Noir. There's a part in, I think it's episode 5, where Black Noir is attacking them in the house, and I was like, I would like to have seen that kind of play out. That maybe he actually does get the shit kicked out of it or something like that, to prove that there is some kind of competence on behalf of the team.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You know, look, I mean, hey, all spoilers aside, you know, I'm only slightly disappointed, not very, but just slightly disappointed that they didn't follow the same track as the comics in that regard. Whereas in the comics, the boys take Compound V as well. Like, but they do it willingly. Like they've they take which allows them to be the police force of the superheroes. They all just get, they get a distilled version, which just gives them like super strength and invulnerability so that they can actually go toe to toe with some of the superheroes, which is what I say.
This is what they're heading towards.
Yeah,
like,
which is,
does it feel maybe kind of prequely? Like this is how we get there?
No, I think that there was
because this sounds like a very different concept to what we're watching.
Yeah, that's why I said there's a split between the comic version and the TV version, and that's just how it's going now. And while I'm enjoying it, there is a certain, as I said, there's a certain fucking amazing bits in the comics where they literally just turn up with baseball bats, and you're like, then some superheroes are like, what are you going to do with those? And then they proceed to beat the shit out of the superheroes with baseball bats. Like, superheroes understand that they have vulnerabilities, and that is an interesting complex. Here it's all mental vulnerabilities. It's all you weren't hugged enough as a child, and your ego got too big
but also
for you.
we've got leverage on you.
True.
And if you don't back the fuck off, I will release this or whatever. And I get that because it does keep attention on a different level. But also, I know if I was being a showrunner on this, I would sure as shit be holding off on my good guys taking Compound V until a very long time into it.
All things are there. But anyway, hey,
There's only so many plot lines involving leverage that you can get out of it.
Yeah, especially now that they've released the whole thing about Compound V to the world. It's like, okay, well, your big cat's kind of out of the bag now.
Like, to be honest, Quinny, until you said that, I did not realize how many plot lines really hinge on the idea of, if you don't do that, I'll tell someone else this.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Yeah.
Actually.
And to me, that's always been kind of a shitty trope of bad writing in like TV shows that need to go for a certain amount of time. I'm keeping this a secret, or I'm keeping something back so that you are not able to talk about stuff. And that,
Yeah.
When a person can fly and shoot laser beams and destroy crowds of people and stuff like that, there's a part of me that doesn't believe the leverage thing. Like, I kind of look at Homelander and go, there's not much leverage that's going to stop him from just lasering through your head.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't try it on Homelander.
Well, also, I don't think he's smart enough. And that's something I said to somebody today. I was like, I like that Stormfront is a modern, intelligent, dangerous villain who we're finding out how dangerous she is. Homelander is essentially a man-child who has no subtlety and zero chill whatsoever. He has 2 speeds, 0 and 100, and he's dangerous to be around, but he's actually not smart enough to be all that dangerous until it becomes the manipulation of Maeve and stuff like that. But yeah.
What a good cleansing podcast time. Talking about happy-go-lucky things. I just went into my own little world of... We were just talking about Ted Lasso, weren't we?
We will talk about it.
Sure.
It's either that or Letterkenny.
We're going to do a podcast the other day. Yes.
I've still yet to watch. So,
fuck, Jesus Christ. How many times do I have to tell you to watch shit, Quinny?
You don't
listen
to
me.
Because I have many things that I also want to watch.
Peter said, hey, you should watch Ted Lasso. I was like, all right, I'll give this a go. And then I watched it. I was like, this is so wholesome. He's like a cross between Ned Flanders and fucking Dolly Parton. And I love him.
Wow.
Yeah, but in a good way. You're like, well, why do I like him?
It's unexpectedly likable.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll just chuck this on. I've got nothing else to do. Then I was like, I'm in love with this.
Yeah. It's like, what a dick. He's a wanker.
I feel so clean.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
That's not something that I normally hear after watching the most TV. I feel so clean.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now that
what are we doing next week?
Yes,
what are we doing next week?
What are we doing next week?
That's
What
what
do you
you
want
were
to do next week? What should we be doing next week?
Well,
That
I know
Kenny
that
now?
there's going to be a bunch of suggestions from all of those lovely people out there.
Probably. See what
But
tech issues we can have next week. I don't
you,
know.
I don't know. Let's see if we can get some more people onto the stream. Let's see if we can
Put your
crash the
votes in.
entire
let's,
stream.
let's just go.
Put your votes in for what tech issues we're going to
We'll
have.
put Lawnmower Man and Lawnmower Man 2 on is what we're reviewing
I
next
will
week.
say that clearly we have made it though, because we managed to have multiple people attack the stream. We've had bots. That means that we are really made the
Peaking.
thing.
Why is
Yeah.
everyone's like June? Put the June. Just review the June trailer. How about you do some June? It's like
No,
no.
we're not going to do that.
No, we'll do. All
I do like
three-
that trailer.
We'll
I'm
do
excited,
all
but
3 June trailers.
um,
Yes. So we'll do all 3 June trailers. We'll do the original. I was going to say Kevin Lynch. It's not Kevin Lynch. David Lynch version. We'll do the mini-series version, and we'll do the latest trailer because they're all the same. Have you watched that compilation?
I have.
That's
well,
great.
I mean, they were taking shots from other versions of it and comparing them.
But I
They
like it.
weren't
And
actually
I love that
making the
also
same trailer.
John Rowski came out and was like, "Oh yeah, this is just a pastiche." I was like, "Oh fuck, man." Jesus,
Yeah. Look, I'm excited for that film. I'm also intrigued to know what the fuck is going to be, where it's going to be released, or how it's going to be put out into the world if it happens in this
Sure.
year.
I'm gonna watch it on my phone like Nolan intended.
Yes. No, we are talking about Enola Holmes.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Also,
So-
just want to let everyone know, some people have been asking, is like, when are you going to review New Mutants? When I get around to seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
When I get into a cinema that I feel comfortable in.
what about Tenet? When I get around to seeing it.
Pete, would you go to a cinema yet?
I mean, I know a couple of cinemas that are pretty deserted on a normal day, so I might go to one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just tell your boss.
Sorry,
like, I'm
the
just going to
tragic
the
downfall
bathroom.
of the theatrical industry.
Yeah, we'll just be casually laissez-faire about the death of an entire, industry or whatever.
Can I bring my own popcorn and snacks?
Yes, you always can at the movies.
Yeah.
Do
Well,
you not smuggle things in your handbag all the time?
That
Now,
would say that would say yes. What, Pete? It's like, I see now why ladies take in large handbags to the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Rob in the chat has also mentioned Criminal UK is very good on Netflix. I watched the first episode of it last night. Interesting concept. Criminal. It's actually 4 different series. There's Criminal UK, Criminal Germany, Criminal Spain, and Criminal France. They all use basically the same set.
Sound like a bunch of criminals.
Yeah, and it's basically people doing interviews with people who are basically they're about to be charged with something, and they're trying to either get a confession out of them or break them in some way, shape, or form. And the first episode is David Tennant, and it's really good.
I saw
been
the
charged?
trailer for that yesterday, and I'm very, very interested because I'm super interested in ultra low budget filmmaking ideas.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's
One
it's
set, 2
2
actors,
sets.
baby.
Yeah.
Who
two
doesn't love
two
one set,
sets,
2 actors?
some well-made stuff, and also the fact that I'm pretty sure that they've just kept the one set and brought in the cast for each of the different versions, the German, France, and Spanish ones, because it looks like the same set.
You know that you can actually build the same set in different places.
I do know that,
I mean-
but it looks a little too much like the
Do you
same
know
set.
this
Is what
thing
I'm
called
saying.
a 3D printer? It prints in 3 dimensions.
I don't think I love you anymore.
Probably not. But yes,
Yes.
Enola Holmes comes out on Netflix, and I don't have the button for the sting. Here, have this one. There we go.
Good.
There we go. That's the new Netflix sting. On the 23rd, which is Thursday in Australia, but Wednesday in the rest of the world.
I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that
I
one.
hope so. Like everyone, and if you're not following Henry Cavill on Instagram, what are you even doing here?
So that's a good question. Why am I not following Henry Cavill on Instagram? It seems
Well,
like a
Because you're
no-brainer,
following
doesn't
him
it?
in real life, and that's a stalking thing that we need to talk about.
Congratulations, Peter. Now you can have your everlasting scroll through Henry Cavill's surprisingly dowdy and old woman-like house. in the English countryside.
Oh my god,
is.
I suddenly love him even more. Okay.
Yeah, after
You just watch him building a computer, and
In
it's one
front
of the
of-
most astonishingly sexy things I've ever seen.
No, I've seen that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
you've
right.
seen that, but did you notice the curtains in the background?
Yeah.
I was like, come
Yeah, I
on.
did.
Is your grandma at home? Is she handing you the tools from the side there? Jesus, Henry, come on.
Oh, look, I think I would enjoy hanging out with Henry Cavill, but not going to the gym with him because he'd scare me.
Sure. Yes, but look, Millie Bobby Brown, who you have met, haven't you, Quinny?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
In that magical way that I've met some people, mostly at a distance,
Sure.
while their handler is between me and them.
Sure, absolutely. That's how.
Yeah,
everyone
and then I have a
should-
lovely conversation with them on a stage where it looks like I'm very friendly with them.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
Yeah.
Quinny, everyone should have a handler when talking to you. That's
Yes,
just
yes, it's
something-
far better if you have a handler.
It goes easier.
To keep you safe from me.
But yeah, we'll come back next week so everyone can go and watch that on the weekend. I mean, we might not even have to do a spoiler-free review of it. We just come in and be like, Enola Holmes, she's crazy. She's actually not a woman. She's an alien, like Lilo and Stitch. What am I talking like Graham?
I don't know what you're
I don't
doing.
know. I'm just things
You've
in the
turned into
hands.
Reese Darby.
I don't- Imagine that. Yeah, well, look, I don't know. I'm gonna bust open the internet and try and figure out what the fuck is going on.
Look, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you,
Yes.
Peter.
Please come onto the Facebook and tell us what tech issue will happen next week. Thanks, Pete. Yes, we'll put that one. What tech issue shall we suffer through next week?
I mean, I reckon if we just aim for one, and then we
Yes.
just like have like the one that we're controlling happen, maybe the tech issue demons will leave us alone.
Yeah. So what? We're going to set up a actual tech issue.
Yeah,
that-
one of us is just going to freeze.
yeah.
Yeah, look, yeah, that was me last week. Hey, I could tell you what it was. You know, one of the tech issues that I had last week, a USB cable was touching a power cable.
Oh.
That didn't take me very long to find out at all. Oh no, Quinny's frozen. Oh no, he's frozen. Oh god. Ah, well, I don't know how to wrap it up. I've forgotten. How do we wrap
Okay,
up?
I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
Everybody, please come and join us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and write into us, send us voicemails, emails. We actually would love to hear from you. You can see he's down at the Periodic Table of Awesome, but if you just send it info@theperiodictableofawesome.com, we would love to read your emails out or play your voicemails. This has been the Periodic Table of Awesome. I have been Quinny. Who have you been?
I've been Dion at the Periodic Table of Awesome.com. I should have put on there, but you know, it's fine.
I've been Peter.
And we will see you, and you will see us next week. Good night.
Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. Martial arts from Iron Fist and Wall. I'll dance her up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're right up cheeky now. Say Emma Frost and have her read my mind, or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Lucky Barnes and arm wrestle for hours. This NMA and bring her lots of flowers. Oh, wolf pack now. I'd run with Flash and do a marathon. Vacation to the savage land for fun.